make yourself immune from the danger of inflation, which erodes away the purchasing power of your dollars during retirement. In this educational episode, I'm going to address why inflation is the second danger, second to what? Taxes. That's the number one danger that causes most retirees to outlive their money. I have other episodes about that. I'm talking about how to eliminate the danger of inflation during retirement so that inflation can actually help you instead of hinder you and help you not outlive your money. So get ready. I think you're going to gain insights into opportunities that maybe you didn't know existed before. So I'm Doug Andrew. I've been a financial strategist and a retirement planning specialist now for nearly 5 decades, helping people usually prepare for long-term goals such as a comfortable retirement where they don't want to have to worry about their money or outliving their money. Well, I've discovered as a retirement planning specialist that there's 3 big dangers that cause most retirees to outlive their money. Number 1 is taxes. And so I help a lot of people and make themselves immune from taxes by converting to tax-free vehicles. Okay. Number 2 is inflation. And inflation will double the cost of living, usually every 5 to 10 years during retirement, meaning you're going to have to pull out twice as much money every 5 to 10 years to buy the same gallons of gas and loaves of bread. And so we call this the tax and inflation power curve. It's a double whammy. Okay. Now, there's a third danger that is market volatility, and that's another topic. And you can check out that educational episode, or I have several on that. Let's get back to inflation. Now, what I have learned as a financial strategist is that even though I don't like inflation any more than you probably do, it doesn't hurt me. It actually helps me. I've always been able to earn a rate of return of at least 5.5% greater than the inflation rate at any given time. Now, I can't guarantee that for the future, but you link your returns basically to the things that are inflating. You can't believe how many financial advisors sit there with a deer in the headlight look when I say that because they don't know how to do that for their clients. Now, if you've watched very many episodes on this channel, my favorite vehicle that I always talk about is a properly structured, max-funded, indexed universal life insurance contract. And if it's structured correctly and funded properly, it is deemed what I call a laser fund, which is the title of my 11th book I want to gift you at the end of this episode. LASER is an acronym that stands for Liquid Asset Safely Earning Returns. Well, I like this because it's tax-free, so I'm immune from taxes going up, but it also helps me link my returns that I'm earning to the things that are inflating. So let me give you some examples of this. But before I do, let's simplify this because inflation is getting to be very, very serious. And a lot of people wonder, well, what causes inflation? Okay. Well, it's the printing of money causes inflation. This should be a no-brainer. This is Economics 101, but we have a lot of politicians that don't even understand Economics 101. But basically, when you increase the supply of money by printing a bunch of money, when you have more supply than you used to have, that devalues the dollar, and that's what's been happening. I mean, again, you create an abundance of something, and the price goes down. If we had an abundance of diamonds, okay, the price of diamonds would go down. Diamonds are scarce, so the price is high. Dirt is, we have an abundance of dirt, and so the price for a dump truck of dirt is pretty cheap, right? And so it's supply, demand, and what have you. But when we talk about inflation, for example, in 1980, we hit double-digit inflation. I started in 1974 as a financial strategist. Shortly after that, Jimmy Carter got in, and we had double-digit inflation. 1980, when it hit double digits, I was earning on my universal life insurance contracts 15.5%, about 5.5% greater than the inflation rate. Okay. Now, again, I don't like inflation any more than anybody, but it has never really hurt me because I stay ahead. I outpace inflation. A lot of people, they do not earn a rate of return greater than inflation. If you have your money sitting in a bank or credit union, you're rowing upstream at the rate of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 miles an hour. The current of inflation is coming down at 10. You're going backwards. You've got to figure this out. And so you want to make sure your money is invested in the things that are actually inflating, that are going up in price. So how do we calculate the rate of inflation so that you can calculate what rate of return do you have to be earning to outpace inflation? Well, first of all, you need to understand how the government reports inflation. It's smoke and mirrors. Because back in the 1980s, they decided they could not afford to pay Social Security recipients the real cost of living increase. We call this the Consumer Price Index. And so they changed the way they report that CPI every year. Basically, they, instead of comparing the same basket of goods and services to the identical basket of goods and services, apples to apples, year to year, they change it from apples to oranges, meaning they can compare the price of an 8-ounce filet mignon steak last year to 8 ounces of hamburger this year. And if the price didn't go up that much, then they report low inflation. But it's not the truth. They did that so they would not have to pay Social Security recipients the real cost of living increase. If you Google the CPI reported inflation, and then you look at the real cost of living increase, it's way up here. It's usually 2.5 to 3 times that. So when the federal government comes out and says, oh, inflation is 9%, we're going to give you Social Security recipients the biggest raise for decades, we're going to give you a 9% increase. Well, you can pretty much count that the real cost of living went up about 3 times that, probably more like 27%. And you look at the gas pump, you look at the price of groceries, especially things like eggs, you look at used cars, you look at real estate, and people realize, yep, the real rate of inflation is way more than 9%. People aren't dumb, but it's amazing. Well, when the government spends too much money, like they did during COVID-19, and then right after COVID, they continued to pass stimulus spending. They were spending 3 times more than they're bringing in. So their solution is to raise taxes and print money. And they printed money at a greater pace than they ever have before. You show me any time with any country in the history of planet Earth where any government sort of spent their way out of a recession or a depression by printing money, that it turned out good. It has never turned out good. So what happens is we have inflation. Now, that's bad news for most people, meaning that most retirees, if they retire and they think if they tighten their belt, they could get by on $50,000 a year. Well, at 15% inflation, if you divide 15% into the rule of 72, it'll tell you the cost of living will double in 4.8 years. If inflation was 10%, it would double in 7.2 years. But the real rate of inflation is more than 15, but let's say it doubles in 4.8 years. If you think you can get by on $50,000 today, you're going to need $100,000 to buy the same gallons of gas and loaves of bread and prescriptions, haircuts, golf green fees. You're going to need $100,000 to buy what $50,000 bought 5 years ago. That requires you pull out twice as much money out of your retirement nest egg. And in another 5 years, you're going to need to pull out $200,000. It keeps doubling. And then $400,000 to buy the same gallons of gas and loaves of bread that $50,000 bought 20 years ago. Okay? This is what causes a lot of retirees to outlive their money. They have to pull out twice as much money every 5, 6, 7 years. And every time they pull out money, they have to pull out 50% more in a 33% tax bracket. And then Congress raises taxes because you have to pull out $150,000 out of an IRA or 401k in a 33% tax bracket to net $100,000 to buy gas and groceries. So this tax and inflation power curve is a double whammy. This is what causes people to outlive their money. So this is why I'm very passionate about you not outliving your money. You've got to make yourself immune from taxes, convert to tax-free. And number 2, make yourself immune from the danger of inflation by linking your returns to the things that inflate so that you will outpace inflation. If you don't learn how to do this, you will risk outliving your money and you will be relying on Social Security, charity, welfare, or your children for support. Is that what you want? So the favorite vehicle that I've used for years that allows you to do this and hedge against inflation and earn a rate of return equal to or greater than the inflation rate, and it's totally tax-free, is a properly structured, maximum funded, indexed universal life insurance contract. When it's structured correctly, it is deemed a laser fund. Laser is an acronym that stands for Liquid Asset Safely Earning Returns. Now, I've been honored in my career to have authored 12 books so far that are all bestsellers. This one has been flying off of the warehouse shelves. We're in our 8th printing. We send out about 500 of these a week. It retails for $20 on Amazon, plus probably around $10 shipping and handling. If you do buy one on Amazon, thank you, but I'll gift you one free. So why do you want this? Because it's 300 pages of information that will show you how to diversify and create the foundation for a tax-free retirement and eliminate the dangers of taxes and inflation. But it doesn't matter if you're a left brain learner or a right brain learner. If you're a left brain learner, there's about 200 pages, 14 chapters with all the charts and graphs and explanations in here. If you're a right brain learner, you learn more by stories and examples. You flip it over to this one. This is about 100 pages, 12 chapters with 62 actual client stories. Or if you want to use your whole brain, your left brain and your right brain, you can read both of these books. But claim your free copy by going to laserfund, laserfund.com, or click on the link below. And when you go in there, you'll contribute a nominal amount towards the shipping and handling. I require some skin in the game. I'll cover the rest of that cost, but I'll pay for the book. I will fire out a hard copy to you via priority mail. But while you're in there claiming your free copy, if you like to listen and learn or watch and learn, check out the audio and the video formats. There's even a master class that you can invest in. There are educational webinars you can register for. We teach on a regular basis. They're free. You can even schedule an appointment to talk to an IUL specialist that I've trained and I oversee so that you can see how one designed correctly for you and why that's so important in your particular set of circumstances can maybe be the dream solution so you will not outlive your money and you can be immune from taxes and inflation.